News 46. Local coverage you can count on.
At Healthcare Partners Medical Group, our mission is to provide the highest quality of healthcare to each and every patient. With 5 locations in Pahrump, we are local doctors you know and trust. We want to thank you for choosing us. Quality care starts here.
I ran for Justice of the Peace here in Pahrump in 2006 and 2008.
There you go. And you were arrested, when was that?
I was arrested January 10th, 2009 here in Pahrump at my home. I was arrested for assault with a deadly weapon, whereas I was the person who called the sheriff's department due to off-road vehicles on public roadways in front of my home and stuff. And basically, I followed all the instructions of the deputy who came out, and he had me go to the person's home and identify the person that lives in my subdivision, and I did that. And while I was waiting for the deputy to fill out the citation, he told me to wait in my vehicle because they called me over to the house to identify the people. Yeah. And he told me, he said, wait here in your vehicle, Mr. DeCanio, which I did. I followed all his instructions. He went back to his patrol car. While he's filling out the citations, one of the individuals approached my vehicle. And I told him, stay away from my vehicle. He's approaching me. And he kept coming towards me, threatening me, and I'm screaming out to the deputy, hey, deputy, get this guy away from me. He's got no business threatening me like this. The deputy gets out of his vehicle, starts walking back with the citation, and I told the deputy, Mr. Brady here was threatening me. He says, well, I heard you calling out to me, but I couldn't see or hear what was going on. I says, okay, then I'll let it go then.
Who was the deputy?
The deputy was Deputy Cannon, Mark Cannon, from the Nye County Sheriff's Department.
And I know that ATVs and motorcycles, off-road vehicles in neighborhoods are a common complaint because of the dust and the noise, and they do get quite a few phone calls on those to quiet it down. They wanted you to identify the person because you wanted to follow through with the citation.
Yes, that's correct. As a matter of fact, this wasn't the first time. I have probably between 50 to 60 calls to the Sheriff's Department. I've sat in the Sheriff's Department and spoke to Sheriff DeMeo directly. I've spoken to Captain Beck about this problems and stuff, and they just ignored it. But on several occasions, I actually had people issued a citation from this resident. So these people were very upset with me. And this particular day, I was having a relative of theirs issued a citation. So it was obvious that these people were very upset. Well, after the deputy sent me back home to fill out what they call the incident report about what I saw, I go back home. The deputy comes back to my home, and he asked me, he says, now he knows me because the deputy had been out there 6 to 8 times prior. And he asked me, he says, Mr. DeCanio, do you have any weapons? I said, well, sure. I says, I got a concealed carry card. He says, can I see it? I said, well, sure. So I showed it to him, and he called in the number. He said, the card is fine. He said, do you have any weapons? I said, well, not on me, but I've got one in my vehicle. So he said, can I see it? I said, sure, no problem. I go into my vehicle. I come out with a little 5-shot 38 stainless steel revolver. And as I hand it to the deputy, I said, deputy, be careful. This is a loaded weapon. He says, okay. He calls the number, and he said, the gun is fine. He hands a loaded weapon back to me. I put it back in my vehicle. Now, that right there tells you that he's in no fear of his life or nobody's in any danger. He's allowing me to have a loaded weapon in my hand, and he hands it back to me. A little while later, he asked me if I pointed a weapon at anybody at the other residence. I said, absolutely not. I said, you were right there. I said, if I'd have pointed a weapon at somebody, they'd have been running up to you telling you what I did. I says, nobody said nothing. Nobody was screaming or ducking or anything. I know if somebody was pointing a weapon, I'd be ducking and running. And actually, as it turns out, even the police report says that these people never said a word to the deputy until after I left. They didn't say it while I was there. Now, why wouldn't they say the deputy was right at my vehicle and I'm signing this complaint? He's 2 feet away from me. Why wouldn't they tell him there? They waited till after I left. Well, anyway, the deputy arrested me at my home without a warrant. That's a violation of my Fourth Amendment rights to be safe and secure in my home. Now, the fact that these people signed witness statements.
Yeah.
That should have started an investigation, not a warrantless arrest. Now, what Sheriff DeMeo said, number one, Sheriff DeMeo said several things. He said, I have no right to demand a trial by jury. Only the defense can demand a trial by jury. Well, he's 100% wrong. Nevada Rules of Civil Procedure number 38 clearly states that either party can demand a trial by jury.